Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Young Black Equestrians, the podcast. Today, we speak with Kiara Moore, who is an avid hunter jumper. She has just acquired a nice mare and is working towards great things with her. Kiara lives in Fayettville, North Carolina, and she is so fantastic. She has even helped me with events for my own personal endeavors. So I'm really thankful for Kiara, and I hope to see much more of her in the future. So take a listen. Feel free to share with all of your friends. This is what Young Black Equestrians is about, talking to and giving a voice to young Black equestrians all over the world. I hope you guys enjoy.
You are listening to Young Black Equestrians, the podcast, with your hosts, Aubriana Johnson and Caitlin Gooch. So have you by chance listened to any of our podcasts before?
Yeah. So I had been, because like when you are on Instagram and stuff like that, definitely a lot of Black equestrians use that specific hashtag Black equestrian or something like that. So I had tapped on it, and that's how I had actually discovered you guys' page before you guys even reached out to me. And then from your page, I actually discovered other riders, and then I was able to go on SoundCloud and listen to some of the other interviews and the things that you guys have done in the past. So.
Well, that's super cool. It makes my heart happy.
Right. The power of social media.
Yes. Well, I'm just super appreciative of everything. All the work we put in, as well as the work that is to come. So.
Right.
So we've been starting off each of our episodes, at least this season, with saying or sharing something that we are thankful for. So if you like to start off, Kiara, I'm sorry. Look, I said it right the first time. Kiara, if you want to start off with just sharing something that you are thankful for today.
I think out of anything, I would have to say that I am beyond thankful for, most importantly, my mom and my twin sisters, because probably without them, I wouldn't even be where I am just in my personal life, in school, and in the horse world. Like, I would be nowhere without them. They are literally my number one supporters and the people that keep me from giving up. So, besides God, my mom and my twin sister are like my backbone. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Aww.
What are you thankful for, Caitlin?
I am thankful for support. Those friends that just check up on me and see how I'm doing. I'm thankful for them. What about you, Brianna?
Today, this is random. Today, I am thankful for finding receipts to things that I need to return, because sometimes I don't have the receipt, but today I did, and it was like, woo, I don't have to spend that extra money. I can just exchange this because I needed to get something else from Lowe's, and I was super thankful for finding the receipt because it was kind of faint. It was barely there, but I found it and they took it, and that made me happy. So.
Yes. Right, gotta be thankful for the big and the little.
Yeah. All right, Kiara, so briefly just tell us about yourself, kind of where you're located, your current horse, if you have one, and then what discipline you ride.
So I currently live in Fayettville, North Carolina. I was originally born here, but I'm a military child like most people from Fayettville. So I grew up on Fort Bragg and in New York on Fort Drum base. I do have a horse. I literally just bought her at the beginning of this month.
Wow.
Sorry. She was a blessing in disguise. I say Bob, but literally I pretty much just acquired her. She's literally a gift in disguise for me. Her name is Red, White, and Blue. she is a 6-year-old golden bird. And right now we're just working on getting her fit because she was with an older couple and she was a little feisty, so she is considered actually pretty young in the jumper world. And so we're just working on getting her fit and back into shape. And next year, hopefully, we will be debuting in the jumper ring. I have done hunters in the past and a bunch of other stuff, but I'm setting my sights on, we'll do a couple local shows of the show jumper ring, and then, try and get out there and get to some really good shows hopefully later next year.
That's pretty awesome. That's super cool. For our listeners that don't know, because I don't think I've asked this question yet, can you tell us the difference between hunters and jumpers?
So hunters is graded based on how the rider and the horse travel through a ring. The jumps are typically a little bit more solid looking, kind of look like what you would find, quote unquote, in a hunt field. The horse is expected to stay very balanced and on tempo. Their canter needs to be the same before the fence and after the fence. Just a very quiet ride from the horse and the rider. Whereas with show jumping, it is based off of time. So, you pretty much want to get around the ring as quickly but as carefully as possible, because also in the jumper ring, if you knock a fence, that is a penalty that goes against your time. So let's say you have 60 minutes to get around the ring, but you knock a fence, it'll add 4 seconds to your time, just as an example. Whereas in hunters, it doesn't necessarily add time because it's not a timed event, but you would definitely be, since it's graded on the horse's ability and travel throughout the ring. And hunters, you're going to be graded a little bit, you're going to have a negative mark because, you don't want the horse to hit the fence.
Right.
But, the big difference is like hunters is very quiet and calm, not timed, and show jumping is you're raring to go, get around that ring as quickly and carefully as possible.
Cool.
That was a great explanation.
Yeah, because I know when I started riding, I trained with a lady that did jumpers, and I mean, I was like 10, so I wasn't really doing that much, but,
right.
And people are like, yeah, I'm a hunter jumper, I'm a hunter. I'm like, okay, so are you one, or are you the other, or are you both? How does that really work?
So some people, they do both fields, because some horses do have the ability to, be really quiet in the hunter ring, and then really turn it up in the jumper ring. So that's where you get your hunter jumpers. Also, because a lot of people do start in the hunter ring before they go to the jumper ring. It's a good basis.
Yeah. Awesome. So tell us kind of how you started off into horses. Like, at what age were you exposed, and, who got you into this lifestyle?
So it's actually really funny. My family is not super outdoorsy at all. Nobody, period, in my entire family, really. They'll go out to the beach and stuff, but nothing like what I'm doing. According to my mom and my grandfather, ever since I was very, very young, I've always had a fascination with horses. My grandfather bought me a 60-piece horse figurine set, and I actually still have some of them when I was 7 years old. And, that's my first real memory that I have of, having my horse things. And I remember everyone saying, oh, it's just going to be a phase, don't worry. No, I've always been a crazy horse girl. And by the time I was 12, I was like, okay, Mom, can I have a horse lesson? And just the backstory, my mom is a single mom. She raised 2 sets of twin girls all by herself. And
two sets of twins? So there's 4?
Yeah, there's 4 girls in the house.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're only 3 years apart, too. So.
Oh, wow. Mom is the real MVP, okay?
Yes. And she was active duty military my entire life. So it was not the easiest for her to figure it out, but basically she got a babysitter to take me to my very first lesson, and it was in a Western saddle, and I walked in there thinking I was a pro. Let me tell you, I had read all the books. I knew what everything was called. And I remember still distinctly to this day, the instructor got really annoyed with me saying, like, I know what that is. I know that. She said, I always think that it's better to learn quietly than to be talking. But I was just so excited, I was so excited for the opportunity. And that was my last lesson until I went to boarding school in ninth grade. And this is where my life really changed in regards to just my opportunities. And so I had a teacher who taught at the boarding school, and she was my Spanish teacher, Senora. Why am I blanking on her name? We'll come back to it. But anyway, so she basically, just from teaching me and everything like that, she found out that I loved horses, and she's like, well, let's see if we can get your mom permission to let me take you off campus, because my mom was living in New York and then boarding school was in Pennsylvania. So, she would have to have permission. And so I did get permission. And once a week, every week for my ninth grade year, she took me to a horse lesson, and it was dressage. And between her and my instructor, Miss Kim, I literally was, and that's when I was really introduced to the horse world. And to say that they are like angels in my life is an understatement, because without them, I don't think I would have gotten the exposure that I needed to, because they literally took time out of their day on the weekends, during the week to, give me these lessons. My mom would spend $30 a week. It's all we could afford, but she did it, for me to have these horse lessons. And I actually went to my very first horse show with them. I still have the ribbon and all the photos.
No.
And I'm actually still in contact with Senora Alexander and Miss Kim, and they pop in and check in on me. But without them, I honestly owe everything equestrian starting in my life to them. Because like I said, my mom wasn't a horse person. She's still not. She will hold the end of the lead rope for me. But if that horse even takes a step, she drops it, she's out. She's like, that's not what I signed up for. But she supports me. But, without those two women in my life, I don't think I would have been horseback riding even still now, because they really, they took a chance on me, and I made sure that I paid it back tenfold, even being as young as I am. So at ninth grade, that's like 14, 15. Even then, I understood how impactful it was, what they were doing for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, to have that kind of influence is great. So, Caitlin, does your mom act like that around horses?
Does she what around horses?
Does she act like that? Like if they move, she's like,
I don't remember my mom being around the horses at all.
Oh, okay.
No. And that isn't because she didn't like them. That's actually my dad's fault, to be honest.
Well,
because he put her on the horse and did something, and that horse took off with her. So, oh no.
Oh well, never mind then. My mom came over to see, or they brought me hay, and Encore was out, and she was like rubbing him, and he went to walk closer to her, and she's like, no, I didn't ask you to be this close to me. Back, I'm like, Mama, really? It's a miniature horse.
My car is like no bigger than her dog.
Right, like it's a mini horse. She's like, no, you don't have to breathe on me. I'm like, oh, you're so dramatic. Anyway, Kiara, what are some of the challenges you've had to face kind of as a minority in this industry?
So, we always wish that we could just walk into any type of situation and be treated just as everyone else. especially in the horse world where I just want to be, judged based off of my merit and my ability to ride. But ever since I was younger, especially once I started showing horses, I definitely had some adversities that I had to overcome. A lot of people I was a child. Keep all this in mind. I was a child, and people would just say standard ones like, "Oh, what is the black kid doing here?" Or they'd be like, "Oh, you can beat her. There's no way that she can be a better rider than you." And I heard that as I say child. I was 14, 15 years old, and I would hear those kind of things, and not necessarily obviously from my trainers. My trainers have always been fantastic, but these are just people that I would compete against. I would compete against their kids. I would compete against adults, and they automatically look down on me because of my skin color. And a story that I always tell people, when I was, I think maybe 18, I was showing in upstate New York, and I walk in. Me and my mom get to the show, and there's a black judge. And I'm telling you, that doesn't happen, especially in upstate New York, where I was showing. It's called Western Pleasure and Hunter Under Saddle. And I walked in, and I stopped, and I snapped my mom on the shoulder. I was like, "Hey, you see that black judge there? Do you see him?" I was freaking out. You best believe my horse at the time, her name was Jasmine. And her show name was Princess de la Vie, and I will tell you what, I made her look like a princess that day. Yeah. I was like, "Oh, these hooves are going to shine. This mane is going to be braided. This tail is going to be pristine. She was a blood bay, so I was like, you are going to shine like a copper penny," because, I always showed up ready to compete, but I was like, this is a black judge, and I'm about to ride my butt off.
And you said it was a man?
And it was a man, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. We just did a podcast episode with a black male judge a few days ago, so that's super cool that you mentioned that. I wonder if it was him.
I know, that would be so crazy. And I remember I looked at my mom and I said, "Mom, I know people are going to talk, but I'm about to go out here and I'm about to win these classes because I want to show this judge, look what we can do together." And I felt so empowered seeing him in the ring. And I did. I went out there and I won almost every one of my classes except for one. And the judge walked up to my mom and he said, "I just want to let you know I can't continue to pin your daughter first, even though she deserves first. He's like, I know that she will face backlash if I continue to place her first."
Yeah.
And because he had the mindset to even think about that, I wish I knew his name because I still thank him to this day because I appreciated him thinking about that, because for me, I was just thinking, look what I can do, but I forgot, there's a reality that I had to live in where I am not considered equal in the riding community at all. And, I would understand too if I wasn't pinning with my mare all the time, but, we were smoking through it. I still have all the ribbons that I won with it. We would smoke every show we went into. But it was this show where people talk, more so, because they're like, "Oh no, it's okay if I'm not winning, but if I'm winning and then there's a black judge,"
right?
People would side eye, people would say disgusting things along the ring, and I actually, my showman at the time, we had to put her down, and so after that, I actually removed myself from the equestrian world for probably about 3 years, because I literally told my mom, I'm like, why would I continue to do this if I feel like I'm going to be constantly on this uphill battle and I'm going nowhere? I would compare myself to other kids my age, and I don't like to point it out, but I was like, that Caucasian girl, she's competing at the same level as I am, And I would say, well, she already has a sponsor. What am I doing wrong? And I'm beating her. Like, I would always compare myself to that. But then as I got older, I was just like, you know what? That's just not my blessing to have right now.
Yeah.
So, but it has definitely been an uphill battle for me, especially riding in the English world, where we have Anna Buffini, who is a beautiful dressage rider, and we have the gentleman that you guys who events that you guys.
Oh yeah, Canyon Walker. Yeah.
Yep. And but what angers me is that I don't think that it should be a rarity. I shouldn't get excited because the judge is black. I should get excited because I'm like, look at where we are. I shouldn't get excited because I haven't seen a black person at a show.
Yeah.
I always crack jokes because I'm always like, everyone's gonna know who my mom is because we're the only black people here.
Exactly. Story of my life.
Exactly. Especially, and I keep saying, especially in the English world, because we have really made big moves in regards to black riders in the Western world. I see that representation there, but I think that there is a missed opportunity all the way around because even if you have representation, it's not necessarily. And I know this is sensitive, but it's not necessarily black riders that look like me or you. It's black riders that are fair skinned. They look mixed. Still, I see it. Not everybody else sees it, but I'm like, I see what you're doing. You're still catering towards the predominant, Caucasian rider. They're slim, they're not curvy, and you're just looking at them and you're just like, I'm a fit rider, but I can tell you what, I am not a size 2, and it's not body shaming, but like I cannot look at a Dover catalog or state line catalog and say, ooh, I would look good in this.
Right.
Because I can't even envision myself in it.
Right. That is the truth. All of that. Colorism exists in every crevice of reality, It's a twofold conversation. It's, do I see anybody that looks like me? And then it's like, no, seriously, looks like me. Not like, Anyway, I agree. I agree with that completely.
I'm still stuck on the whole judge thing. Like, it's just amazing how, okay, you're already the minority in this field, right? And then you're doing your best, but because other people are going to think, just because he was black and you're black, that's why you're getting it, you kind of have to hold back those scores that he litigates. I think that's just wild to me. Because it's like, the challenges for us never stop. Even
Yeah. And even when you said, when you see somebody, even if they're not a judge, if I see another black person at the show, like, I am going to make eye contact with you. It is just.
Heck yeah, I'm walking up to you.
Yeah,
hold on now.
Hello.
What are you here for?
Right. Right. I mean, at least making that connection. And that's the thing, like, although you feel that sense of, comfort and empowerment, it's also like, we really shouldn't. It shouldn't be this exciting,
Right.
It shouldn't be this rare, We should be able to get over this at some point.
I wish there were I wish there were a post where people would be like, oh, so and so is doing this event on this day, and I need as many black people as possible.
Yeah, girl, flash mob, okay? That would be awesome, especially if it's not a black centric place, like at the fairgrounds or at these different rated shows, like so and so is showing, we need this support. Yeah,
exactly. And support. And
yeah.
keep doing it normal.
Because I even told the 4-H kids, I'm like, look, all these parents out here, they're gonna be quiet. They're gonna, yay! Like, no, that's not how I roll. Like, if you did
My
a
mom
good
said,
class, I'm like, wow!
That's my mom. I would actually tell her, because, you know, like, hunter shows are very quiet, and so are dressage shows, and I have to warn her, I'm like, hey, I know you want to cheer for me, and I was like, you can do it for show jumping, but you have to be quiet for dressage. And she's like, are you sure? And it still doesn't work. Still to this day, it doesn't work, because I have dabbled in eventing, which, you know, it's 3 phases, dressage, show jumping, and cross country, and, you know, I'll finish the class, and she goes, yeah, yeah, and I'm just like, I love you, Mom. Like,
yeah, that would be awesome if we could put together some kind of, like, flash mob, like, rolling deep.
right.
Just
Exactly.
No, we all have to show up at 9:00, okay? We're not gonna trickle in. We're walking in together.
Exactly.
Lord, those people would be so confused.
I mean, it's sad, like, when you, like, even if my family, so I'm still, like, I had showed a really, really big show in New York, and so all my family came, and, you know, that's all my sisters and my mom, and everyone was just, like, turning heads, and I said, yo, we are just some brown folks at a horse show. So then I had to remind myself, I'm like, we are brown folks at a horse show, at a very large horse show, you know, it's a recognized horse show. They're just like, that's a bunch going on for them. And we just were like, hey, here we are, hey. And I mean, you know, it's not like we're out here just acting a fool or anything like that.
Right.
But definitely, I mean, I take pride when I can see my mom in a crowd, though. I cry almost every time I get a ribbon, because it's like a testament to the hard work that my mom has sacrificed for me, and, you know, all that work that I have done, and the adversity that I have to turn my face to actually get to the point that where I'm at.
Yes, that's awesome. That really is. So,
yeah, it's like, if we started showing up, because I know even now people that we've been interviewing, they'll say how Black people are being represented on a Western level, but not so much, you know, as far as English, which is true. Exactly. And I think some of it might be because we just, I don't want to say that we're not attracted to those things, but we're just not, I don't know, we don't know much about it as a whole.
Well, I mean, I would say, you know, people go where they see people that look like them because that's comfortable. Yeah. You know, so they're gonna seek comfort. That's just like we were talking about in the other episode. You know, being comfortable or seeking out places where you feel comfortable, and it's just the stereotype. And I mean, I know some Western barns, especially like Western Pleasure, they can be a little bit snobby, but Western is known for being like chill, like relaxed, you know, just kind of piecing stuff together half the time. You know, it's supposed to be the cowboy way, and I think that is a little bit more appealing to people who are just now getting into the industry, as opposed to, you know, going out here and competing against or even learning with, you know, little skinny white girls who have been doing this their whole lives, you know? And that's kind of where you start.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I will say, too, I'm going to be honest, English writing is freaking expensive.
Yeah.
Like, the mare that I just acquired, like, I will be honest with you guys, it was by God, because she was even assured for more than I would ever see in my life. So the fact that I am the owner on her papers is just, that had to only be God, because I would have never, ever been able to afford her. Ever. Never. Would have never touched a horse like that. And sadly, like, that's, I mean, yes, I know you know, it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is, you know, horses can be expensive, but, like, for the caliber of horse that I needed to step up into the level that I want to get to, I mean, she's exactly what I needed, but it would have never happened. Like, my mom would have never been able to do that. and few in between, and we have to take advantage of them whenever they come. And like, I think that's a big thing why people don't really go into the English world, because at some point it does become about the type of horse that's under you, and it's not necessarily the higher the price tag, the better the horse. But you definitely have to start looking at the caliber of horse that you're riding when you want to like step up into being competitive against other people, because you know those diamonds in the rough that you know you can pull from the kill pen and bring them. What, there was one that went to Devon this year or a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like, those are rare, and I'm gonna be honest, I am 27 and I'm trying to motor this so I can be a spokesperson and a person for other little girls who are Black or Hispanic or Native American or Indian, so they can look up and be like, oh, look at that brown girl, look what she just did. And we have to be like that forefront for them. And so like that's why it's a big thing, like Caitlin was saying about the Western world. Like, we are super comfortable in the Western world. I mean, in the South, it is more common for me to see like Black Western riders, and I enjoy it. There are some kids that actually ride up and down my street, and I live in Fayettville, which is not necessarily a country town, but they will ride up along the traffic, and they're Black kids, and I freak out every time I see them, because I'm just like, yes, continue riding up and down the street. I want to see you guys all the time. I actually stopped one time, and I was like, hey, let me come ride with you guys. But then also I chickened out because they are just like really good riders, and I'm an okay rider. But I was like, you guys ride against like traffic.
Right.
Not
that brave.
I'm not that daring. But I get so excited when I see them, because that's exposure, you know what I mean? Like, this is exposure. This podcast, I have shared it with almost everyone. And then I will share it on my Facebook. Like, I'm sharing it, I'm throwing it out there, because I'm just like, everyone needs to be exposed to this, because at the end of the day, there are people out there. Like, I would love, once my mare is like, you know, fit and healthy, I would love for kids to be like, hey, can I come and sit on her? Because that's all they need. They just need one moment. And it's just like, boom, there's a kid in English riding again. Boom, there's a kid in English riding again. Because it's not necessarily that Black people are more underprivileged or anything like that. I hate when people are just like, well, that's why you don't see, because I've heard that before. That's why you don't see Black people in the English world, because, you know, it is a little expensive for them. And we don't promote violence, but it is frustrating.
Yes.
And so when I see a little girl at the barn that is brown, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, can I take her on a trail ride with me? Because she doesn't need to see, you know, the Caucasian girl riding or anything like that. She sees that all the time. That's Barbie, you know, that's Barbie. That's what are all the other shows? But, you know, that's that. So I always want to make sure that, you know, these kids see that they can do English riding. They don't have to have that fancy smancy horse. Because my mare that I showed in New York that would clean house, I paid $400 for her. She was about to go to a kill pen. She looked horrible. I will say that. And I went out and I took her to, you know, I built her up, and then we ended our career going to a recognized event. So, you know, it just goes to show, like, it's definitely the work that you put into it. But it's also, we just need more representation in that higher level English world to be like, you can still do it.
Yeah.
You might have to work a little bit harder, because, you know, them handouts aren't coming.
Right, and we should be used to that anyway.
Right, exactly. But you can still do it. You know, I think kids are still pushed towards basketball, football, you know, what we're told that we're supposed to do. When really, we need to be pushing these kids towards these other sports, because that representation does matter. Those opportunities for the Black community do matter, because that's how we're going to strengthen our generations that are coming behind us.
That is the truth. Sound bites. So what do you do, like, for your job, like during the day?
Yeah. So I'm actually a vitamin nutritional manager at a store called Sprouts Farmers Market. It's like a natural grocery store. And then I'm also in school starting in the spring for forensic psychology. So,
Nice. So
I need to get a different day job so I can afford to go to these bigger shows.
yes, story of my life also. So I can do lots of things. I need a different job.
Exactly.
Kind of spell out for us your vision for the future for this mare that you got. You know, you're obviously going to put in the work. You've worked so hard already. What is your ultimate goal with this mare?
So with my little Maddie Moo, I really, really want to go and shake up the house. I want to take this mare under the tutelage of, a fantastic trainer. I'll be moving farms soon, actually, and we'll be training under a jumper trainer. And so I really want to take her from, this cute little kind of chunky pasture mare to as far as you can go. Obviously, any rider who has big, big goals wants to get to the Olympics, but honestly, if I could just compete Maddie once internationally or at an international show anyway, I would definitely say, like, dang, look at what we just did.
Yeah.
I don't limit my goals at all. And, like I was saying, Maddie is definitely a blessing in disguise. And so with the right tutelage, I think that she definitely has the capabilities of, being that little nugget, that little diamond in the rough that I have been praying God for the last few years since I stepped back into the equestrian world, because, even all my friends are just like, you kind of need to get your own horse. You aren't going to get anywhere with your lesson horses that you're riding. And I think a really big, big quote that I have too, that I've been living by, is like, you have to stop building dreams for other people, and you have to build your dreams for yourself.
Yes.
And that it is okay to be selfish and choose your future and yourself first. Be selfish. So those are the two quotes I live by, because me obtaining Maddie and acquiring her, and just like literally it was like poorly timed. I wasn't even really prepared to own a horse, and owners are just like, do you want her? And I was just like, sure, because I was just like, it would be so dumb. Even like, all my friends and family, and even my boyfriend doesn't know anything about horses. They're all like, it would be dumb for you to not take this opportunity. And instead of living in the fear and allowing myself to make good decisions based off of fear, I was just like, well, let's go into this head first, fearful, but still doing it. And so I would say definitely, I'm not going to say that Maddie's Olympic material. We would all love our first to be Olympic material. And I don't even know the last time an owned horse, personally owned by a little person, went to the Olympics. But I would definitely say that I want to see me and Maddie move up in the ranks and do what God has blessed me with the talent to do, and that's to kick some butt in the jumper ring. I've always been really strong in that ring, and I'm really excited to bring Maddie along in that journey now. So I'm hoping, definitely, like I said, hopefully recognize events by the end of the year. She is 6, so she is considered pretty young in the jumper world. So I want to make sure that I take care of her joints, take care of her legs, and make sure she still has a good solid foundation, because that will be the only way that we can get to the top, is making sure that I take care of her now. So then when it gets to that time, she can take care of me and make up for my mistakes down the road.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I support all of this.
I know. You will have to, we're going to have to find you on Facebook so you can post when you're going to a show, because we will roll out to Fayettville. It is not that far away.
Oh, so I'll be competing probably in Raleigh and Southern Pines, actually. So.
Okay, so even closer. We will be in there, okay?
Yeah, with an entourage.
Yes,
I know. I'll send out an invite and be like, invite everybody you know.
We gotta make this a thing, man.
There'll be lemonade, chicken, and watermelon. People are gonna be like, oh, they're coming.
Lord have mercy. That is freaking hilarious. All right. So you have dropped like crazy amount. Sorry, my dog is making noise. You've dropped crazy amount of gems so far. But if you had just a few things, a few pieces of advice to give the aspiring equestrian, you know, somebody who's on the fence, you know, always wanted to do this, or, you know, can't afford it, don't know where to find the resources, although that shouldn't be an excuse, what would you say to them?
I think the biggest thing that has helped me along in my journey is you really have to find the right trainer and the right barn. I have worked off a lot of my lessons and shows doing the grunt work. You need to be a working student or some sort of working student. And that's for any rider. It doesn't matter what your ethnicity is. But I would say definitely for somebody who, you know, like me, whose mom could not afford like horseback riding, period, at all. I tell people all the time, I have literally been working since I was 14 years old because my mom could not afford lessons, even like sometimes once a month, because it's just so expensive. And I would say there are barns out there who are so willing to bring up a willing and hard-working student. And they don't look at it as charity. They don't look at it as a handout. There are so many trainers out there, and you have to be careful. You have to find the right ones, because you can easily, and I have had it happen so many times, you can easily get taken advantage of. But you just finesse it. Really reach out and ask for advice. You know, if you're listening to this podcast, you can literally reach out to me, and I will even go undercover for you. I will figure out if this is the right trainer for you. Because I've done it before for a lot of my friends. And it's, you know, they were Caucasian, and they're just like, yeah, you just fill out this trainer for me. But, you know, just take your time, find the right barn, and then just see what they are willing to give you. And make it count every single time you're in the saddle. Like, work hard, clean those stalls, learn how to braid. Actually, very, very fruitful journey if you know how to braid, because people pay big bucks for it. I actually will too. So learn how to braid and come with my first. But learn how to braid. You know, learn the ins and outs of what it is to own a horse, run a barn. Because that's going to make you marketable, that's going to give you even more opportunity, and that's just going to literally open the doors for you. And do not let anybody limit you based off of the color of your skin. Because the only limits that somebody can place on yourself are the ones that you've already placed on yourself.
That is sound advice.
As you guys see, I've been through some stuff.
Yes, I'm like, she got a testimony, okay? I really, really, really appreciate you talking to us today, because I have a feeling this is gonna be one of our best episodes, honestly. It's just very honest.
Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. I really, really appreciate it. It's so crazy you guys contacted me, because I have been trying to just take advantage of every opportunity, especially since I own my own horse now. Just because, you know, it's a little bit easier when you own your own horse to really promote like your message and things like that in the horse world.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate you guys reaching out, because it is a sensitive subject, you know, in the horse world. A lot of people like to skirt around it, but it's definitely something that has to be talked about, so that all of us here on this podcast are just like, oh yeah, did you see, you know, Christina, you know, did you see what she did last week? And we're just like, we're not saying, did you see that black rider? doing what she do. It's, look at
Right.
look at Becky, da-da-da-da-da. Like, look at all these people who we can look up to, or we can bring along, rather than it just be this thing of like, oh my gosh, there's a black rider. Because still to this day, I've only seen like one black rider at a show, and it was like 6 years ago. So since then, it's just been me. So, I want to change that. You know what I mean? Exposure.
Yeah. I completely agree with all of that. So, alrighty. Well, we're gonna, if you want, you can either send us pictures, or we're just gonna steal them off your social media. And it's just for the graphic for the podcast, for the episode. So either one works. And
well, I have a ton of posts, so you guys can steal your faves.
Awesome. Yeah, and I don't even think I'll have to do a lot of editing because the audio was great. So this episode might come out before some of the other ones that I've done, or that we've done.
That makes me really excited.
So awesome. Well, Caitlin, do you have any other questions for Kiara?
Just remember to invite us and keep us posted since you are around here. Because so far, most of the people that we've interviewed, they are in different states.
Yeah.
I know. When I saw the number come up, I was like, wait a minute. Can you be horse friends? Because I was like, are they still in North Carolina? Because you're like, obviously, like, just because you have the area code doesn't mean you're here. But it was like, Chapel Hill. I was like, hold on. I will trailer my horse wherever I need to. Black horseback riders.
Girl, I mean,
we should have a meetup.
Yeah.
We should actually make a meetup.
Yes.
Happen.
I agree. And I don't know, like, have you ever been to one of the Black trail rides?
No. What is that? I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So we gonna have a meetup because me and Caitlin, we grew up on this trail ride circuit. It's called East Coast Trail Ride Association. And these different clubs every weekend from what, like April, Caitlin? I think March. Yeah, March to every weekend there is a trail ride somewhere. Most of them are in North Carolina, but some of them are in Maryland, South Carolina, Virginia, and literally hundreds of Black people come together. They go out into the country, like in these fields. They bring their campers and tents and horse trailers and yada yada, and the whole family. Yeah, my parents go and they just take their camper. Like, I don't even get to go, but they be going. And we ride. Like, Friday night we party and eat food. Saturday morning we go out for a trail ride, 3-4 hours. Then we come back and eat and party, and then Sunday morning everybody leaves.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard of it. That's so amazing.
Yeah. So we're gonna be in touch because there's a few coming up. Caitlin's family, theirs is coming up in September. So we'll be going to that. Yeah. You need to experience this.
I mean, I would probably like try doing all this Black Fridays all together. I've never even sat on a horse beside another Black person on a horse, unless it was like, like I put my sister on a horse, like my horse that I own. But that's it, like oh my god, I'm like choked up because like I have never seen other Black riders, and then to see that there's been a group of them all together.
Yes. Girl, yeah, are you on Facebook? Let's find you.
Yeah. Because I'm about to tag you in the video from the last one.
Well, yeah, girl, you know that we will create a space of our own where we cannot find one. You know?
Exactly.
So, we are out there, okay? We are definitely out there.
Hey everybody, and thank you for listening to another episode of Young Black Equestrians, the podcast. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you want to hear, what you think about what you've heard, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye!